Hey there, Tad Hargrave from marketingforhippies.com. Hope everyone's doing well today. Today's video is about why it's important to have a simple business model. This might seem obvious, but let me sort of lay out some of the dynamics here. Some people's business models, my own included at times, have gotten so incredibly complicated. There's so many moving parts. We're doing so many different things. We have so many offerings. And it just gets overwhelming. I mean, that's the big thing. You burn out. It gets really properly daunting. And so the simpler the business model is, the better. Now, if you can imagine, a business is like a machine. Well, a machine needs maintenance. It's got to be maintained, and the bigger that machine is, the more maintenance there is to do. Yeah, a bicycle doesn't need quite as much maintenance as a car, which does not need quite as much maintenance as an airplane, as a rocket ship. You know, the bigger it gets, the more moving parts there are, and all of them need to be checked and maintained. So, if you're spending all your time on maintenance, you've got no time for creativity, and that'll just kill your business. It becomes just purely functional because you're just checking off the checklists every day, making sure you're doing all the basic maintenance stuff, and you lose the juice, you lose the joy of it, and the inspiration and the creativity. And that's so vital in a business. If your business is going to be unique, if it's going to have your thumbprint, if it's going to stand out from the crowd, your creativity is the thing. But if it's too big a machine, well, there you go. So, but if it's too small a machine, it's not going to do the job. It won't sustain you. You know, if I want to get from Edmonton to Calgary, well, flying would be the fastest. You know, if I could just get on a plane here and fly and not have to go through security and all that. Driving, that'd be the next fastest. Well, I suppose a bullet train, if we had one, would be the next fastest. Then driving, then riding a bicycle, and then let's say a little tricycle. But you see what I'm saying? If I tried to, as an adult, ride a kid's tricycle to Calgary, it'd be so slow, it'd break, it just wouldn't get me there, it'd be frustrating. And some businesses, the business model's so, it's just too small. It's not going to do it. So there's a right sizing that needs to happen. We don't want a business model that's simplistic, it's too tiny, but we also don't want a business model that is so big. So for myself, I have done and continue to do everything I can to simplify my business model. And now my business model basically is, I've got a bunch of free stuff. Then I've got my starter kit, which is also free, but you know, there's the YouTubes and blog posts, all that. There's my starter kit, which is the full footage of my day-long workshop, plus a bunch of other content in there. And then there's my membership, you know, which has a couple levels, $40 a month and $100 a month. So kind of pink spoons, there's a free starter kit, and then there's this. Now I do 30-day programs as well. I do the occasional teleseminar, but even the 30-day programs, most of the push in that is for people to join the membership. So I say, hey, with a 30-day program, you can do the 30-day program for $300 US, or you can join the membership for $100 US and get even more benefit from it, which is what almost everybody does. In fact, the last couple, every single person. Some people joined just the 30-day program, but once they saw what was in the membership, then they joined. So there you go. So it's a much simpler business model. And also, I mean, back in 2021, I was not just running my the membership, which I'd started in December 2020. I was also running my mentorship program, 12 clients, and I worked very in depth with them. So that's a lot to take on. A mentorship, a membership, plus 30-day programs, and I hadn't quite figured out how to rope that into the membership. So the simpler, the better. That's why I love memberships as a business model. It's one thing and everything's in it. It's also the appeal. I was talking with a fellow, Steve Martin in Ontario, and he does in the Ottawa Valley. He's a herbalist, does beautiful work. Stephen Martin with a Y, I believe. And we were talking about this, and he said, I've got this workshop and this workshop, and people are coming back to the same workshop just because they want more. And I just kind of keep repeating the same few workshops. But he knew that people wanted more from him. And I said, well, have you thought about doing it as a school, where it's like a year-long or a 2-year process, where you could really map it out and take people through a larger thing? You see what I'm saying? It's much simpler to sell one school, one time, than it is to sell a series of little workshops. That's a simpler thing. People think, oh, but it's so much bigger, so it must be harder to market. Not necessarily. When I first started, my business model was extremely simple. I had free intro workshop, an evening workshop, and a paper scan weekend workshop. That was my whole business model. And I started getting ebooks and 30-day courses and teleseminars and all sorts of things added. And now, do I do puttering sessions as well? You say, but Tad, that's a whole other thing that complicates it. Not really, because first of all, my members get first dibs on that. I tell them before I announce it to my whole list. In fact, the last 2 times I've released the puttering sessions, I haven't even formally told my list. I have not sent a solo email. I wrote a whole email. It's so good. It's got a bunch of my videos on puttering session case studies. It's such a good email, and I don't know if I'll ever send it, because the members fill it up, and the pro members also get $50 off the puttering sessions. For most people at this point of recording it, it's they're 150 US, but they get it for 100 US. So it's just so easy. If I want to fill those up, I send an email to my members. Then I have an advance notice list that you can get on at marketingforhippies.com/puttering. And then if there are any left, I announce it to my whole list, but last time it sold out in 4 or 5 days. So you see what I'm saying. And then my puttering sessions too, that's a simple model. People I call into a Zoom line, they call in, we talk for an hour while I tidy my house or go for a walk. That's not rocket science. There's no follow-up email, there's nothing. It's really simple. Having a simple business model is so key. Again, not a simplistic business model, not it's too small to sustain you, not a naive look at it, but really thinking, what's something easy that I could do repeatedly, like a membership, like a school, like larger coaching packages, instead of trying to sell one session at a time, but having a package, and hey, I like to work with people over 6 months or a year, and you sell those kinds of packages, and then you just filter the heck out of people and make sure on both sides you're really clear that it's a fit. This simplifies it. Packages themselves simplify it. They also simplify the marketing, because if you're like, well, I'm a holistic practitioner, and that's the best part is my modalities can help everybody, that's confusing. But if you say, I'm a holistic practitioner who focuses on fibromyalgia using these modalities, and then you have a package that's just about fibromyalgia, that's easier to sell. It's easier to understand. It's just a more compelling offer. So simplify, simplify, simplify. It's worth sitting down and doing a little mind map, drawing out all the things in your business and how they relate to each other, and asking yourself, how could I combine some of these things? Could I eliminate some of them? Could I refer out for some of them? How could I streamline this so that it's only a few steps? There's not a million places they can go, and even if there are, most of your marketing really focuses on just 1 or 2 of them, and ideally just one thing. Here's the one thing I do. Here's how you get in. From there, you can give them other ideas. So anyways, that's what I got to say about that. Simplify your business model as much as you can. Don't get too crazy and complicated. I'm just at the park. The fellows are playing soccer. So yeah, that's all I got to say. I hope you're doing well out there. Thanks to everyone who subscribes to these videos and shares them. Deep gratitude to that. And if you like these videos, please do share them. It does make a difference. If a video really resonates with you, email it to a friend, text somebody, share it in a Facebook group. Yeah, it's very helpful, at least on my end. So thanks so much for joining, and we'll see you at the next video.